Nelson here again with the Icon podcast, and this is actually also a real leverage podcast at the same time. We are doing a double airing today, so we are going to be talking with Todd about his Icon journey. And if you guys haven't heard of our Real Leverage podcast, which is a whole other podcast, it is all about the journey of going from no leverage to some leverage to a lot of leverage. So we're going to be talking about all things the Icon and a little bit about leverage today too. So welcome to the podcast, Todd.
Thank you for having me. Excited to be here.
Absolutely, man. Well, I love your background, number one. I'm going to have to figure out how to do that for mine because I love the agents who win. So talk to me about that first, Todd. Even before we get your background, you run another Facebook group that I think a lot of people on here listening to should be a part of just because of the amount of tremendous value that I personally find in it. So tell us a little bit about your Facebook group that you currently have going on for real estate.
So we just, we wanted to find a way to give back to the agent community and, without just email blasting everybody or just putting it in our general audience on Facebook. We wanted to, and obviously first coming up with the name was hard enough because it's, I see these Be Different or Next Level or whatever. And it's like, we want to help agents win. We're like, oh shit, there it is, and so we want to give back, and we're doing like weekly interviews with people like yourself, like we did last week. How you were on a company for VAs, managing, helping us, and so we're trying to take that, not just agents on what they're doing to be successful, but players in the community that are helping agents be successful. And so that's kind of what we're doing there. It's on Facebook. You can find on Agents Who Win and or Instagram as Agents Who Win as well, and follow us there. But every Friday, 3 o'clock, we've got a good show going on, and it's just, really trying to provide value back. And we want everyone to contribute back into there as well. If they've got a tip, a trick, or whatever they're doing, pop it back in the community. The more we can help each other, the better we can become as a community.
I love that, man. I love that. So what we're going to do today, Todd, is I'm going to kind of start off with, I'd love to hear a little bit more about your current real estate team setup. Obviously, I know quite a bit about it. But for those that are listening, so for the next 15 minutes or 20 minutes, I want to kind of really dive into the Icon part of the podcast, where we're just going to talk all things Icon. So tell me a little bit about your current real estate team setup and where you guys are located and kind of, what the growth has looked like for you guys in that side of the business over the last year or two.
So I've been at EXP just under 2 years. We're about 18 or 20 months now. We started out with just two of us. Actually, three. There was three agents. One of them didn't want to come to EXP because she didn't want to pay the $85, so she got out of the business. Instead of coming over from Remax, just got out completely. I had two support staff at the time as well. We are now 6 agents on our team and 3 support staff, now a VA. And our transaction count is going to be about 130 deals this year. We're at 75 so far this year, and we've got a lot still pending and new business coming in. So it's been a great ride the last year and a half.
I love that. And where are you guys located out of currently? Like, I know you have some expansion going on as well. So what are kind of your main service areas?
So our main service area is Central Florida, pretty much from Daytona Beach up through Davenport, Disney area. We can go beyond that if we need to. But I've got a brick and mortar office in the Altamont Springs, Orlando market. We just opened an expansion office up in Daytona Beach. We just want to, the idea of brick and mortar for us is we want a place to drop in. That's ours. We call home, and our agents have a key to go to.
I love that. I love that. So tell us a little bit. A lot of people watching this, they're either at EXP already, but a lot of this may be watching, wanting to learn more about this so-called secret Icon thing. The reason why we put this podcast together is, is a lot of people in all markets don't even know what the Icon agent is. So tell me a little bit about why did you come to EXP? What was the first reason, even if it's not the best reason today why you're over here, what was the first reason that kind of made you go, you know what, that's the company that I need to be at?
We were looking for change, and I'd be Remax 18 years. I decided it was, we needed to go independent or open our own franchise or something else along that line. Didn't understand the EXP model at the time. I've had it pitched to me before. I'm a brick and mortar kind of guy, and I wanted a place that I could go to that's my own. So that's why we thought either franchise or independent. Funny story is when we finally looked at EXP, because one of my good friends, Veronica Figueroa, mentioned, hey, we need to look at that company. I really dove in and really, I had a 50 pages of questions that I wanted answered on it. And so I went to an event with Kinder and Reese and got all those things done. And I was over a month later. 18-year career at Remax, switched right away. And I never switched companies my whole time. And when I heard you can open your own brick and mortar, have your own branch office, didn't need to be pretty or anything else along that line. It's just yours. Awesome. But the funniest part of the story is when I gave my broker notice, he's like, well, I have 2 offices. I don't need this one since you're the only one in here. You can have the Remax office. So the cool thing was taking the Remax sign down and putting up the EXP sign and not even moving.
Awesome. That's awesome. I did not even know that. That's really cool. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of flexibility. I think a lot of times people go, oh, EXP doesn't have brick and mortar. Well, we'll talk about cost savings later, but I think a lot of the cost savings and income growth that you're able to experience, you can well pay for brick and mortar with that.
Yep.
So I love that. I love that. So tell me now, man, obviously that was a big piece for you moving over, is kind of just needing a change. Now that you're over, what would you say has been some of like the biggest surprises, the biggest shocks that have, changed, either your business, your finances, the culture, or, what's kind of that biggest thing that you didn't think that was going to be big when you came over, or maybe didn't even know about, but now it's like, whoa, what is this?
Well, the biggest thing for us, we didn't put, rev share or stock or anything as our top couple things to move over. We just put it was number one, it was the flexibility for us to be able to do our own thing. And I don't need to brand a corporation. I could keep my team and move my team over, and it's Homes by Team Schroth, brokered by EXP Realty, versus trying to, modify all these different things we had going on, but allowed us our own growth space. So I got a nice 2,500 square foot office. It's a nice agent attraction tool too, because people think, if you Google EXP, there's quite a few offices actually in the Orlando market or Daytona or other places. So to think we don't have offices is a falsehood, because they are there. And they can be 200 square feet to 2,000 plus square feet or whatever. But when we started getting our stock and stuff, that was where it was like, cool, we really did something good. Because right now my portfolio is sitting at 6 figures after a year and a half being in the company. And I would have never had that at Remax. I would have had a 6-figure bill.
I love that. And my guess is you probably didn't put 6 figures. You didn't put in like 100,000 to keep 100,000. My guess is it grew. That
portfolio right there that I'm talking about is all the stock that's been given to me. So it's nothing that I've bought. It's all stock that's been given.
That's awesome. That is awesome. So a 6-figure change just from moving companies.
And that's, and that's because of the icon status, because when we obviously hit a certain caliper with the company, they give us back the stock or the cap we put in. So they gave it back to us in stock, which is, that 16,000 each year is now, we'll call it a $70,000 profit in 2 years on a $30,000 investment.
Well, and I think the other thing, the way that you can look at it is like, even though you paid $16,000 a year and they give it back to you in stock, like with most companies, it wouldn't even be an investment, it'd be a negative. Like it wouldn't even be a break even. You would just be paying the cap and never see a piece of it.
Yep.
And so I think a lot of people ask, so you've icon what, two times now, Todd?
Yes, 2 times.
Okay, so you've gotten roughly about $32,000 worth of stock. So, if someone goes, well, what if the stock goes and cuts in half after I icon? Well, it's still $16,000 now that you didn't have before, right?
Correct. And I would have paid that to Remax or any other broker that's out there.
Exactly. So I love that. So obviously, I'm hearing the stock was a big part. And I think that's a lot of people. It's like, it's not a big part, but it can become a big part as you do your business. Now, tell me this: if you had come over and you had done no real estate, if you had done nothing, you probably wouldn't have acquired that stock, would you have? I mean, so you had to come and sell real estate first and foremost.
Correct. You've got to be selling. You can acquire some stock through the company through attraction. If I sell my first house, I get stock. If I bring you to the company and you sell your first house, I get stock. That's the one way to get it. But, and that's cool, because if it's on top of the revenue share we get some stock back from you, and that stuff vests and grows, and, we can cash it in later.
I love that. So tell me this: you obviously have a hectic personal life right now. You got kids at home, going to homeschool. I always laugh at your Facebook posts.
Yeah.
With the new world we live in. So if you guys are watching this, we're in the middle still of COVID, or maybe the back end, who knows? So this is a unique question to ask people. What is like one thing that you do in your personal life as a high producer to stay sane, to stay mentally prepped, refreshed, all of the above?
I would love to say that it's, I wake up at a certain hour and I do this and this and this, and I get to the next. But the thing that keeps me sane is my support staff. I know I don't need to be at the office at 9 o'clock and I can leave earlier because they've got everything covered. I just concentrate on the sales. They concentrate on the closings.
Yeah.
As long as we're producing, they're closing. And that's what keeps me sane in my life, because I don't need to worry about all the little issues that are going on.
I love that. So tell me a little bit about your support staff. So we'll kind of get a little bit into the real leverage side of here. What has been your support staff journey? Obviously for 18 years, you always had an assistant. Was that come later in your career, and kind of what have you learned over 18 years of having an assistant, or growing a business into having assistants?
When I got in the business in 2000, around 2010, we started to make some changes with our business, and I had some assistants back in 05 when I was a high-level single producer, single being, not married, no buyer's agents or anything, doing 60 deals a year. Had somebody who was just basically in the processing paperwork, handing files in part-time for me. But when it came down to true assistant work, it was in 2010, I'd acquired someone else's business, and it was a husband and wife. So they always had two of them working the business. And so we got a full-time assistant in, who is still with me today, going on 9 years later. And so and it's funny is because we were together for about 5 years, she decided to take a departure to go try an opportunity. And I realized that I needed two people, one for marketing, one for transactions. So replaced one with two. And then when one of those left, she came back, and that was like, so you're taking the roles and really expanding them. And hence the reason for the third person now, or the fourth person, which is, Jessica, the VA. The marketing is such a big project. So she's got, my marketing person as an assistant. We're getting ready to talk to you later about hiring one for the closing coordinator that can help with that. So because every time with this business, you have a couple of different things you're doing that are like other businesses, like the Facebook group, Jessica's helping run that. It's full-time work.
Yeah. I love that. So as you got over to, I just heard a lot of different things for a lot of people that may be looking for leverage, maybe can't afford it yet. Talk to me a little bit about the cost savings that you've had over at EXP, because a lot of people may be listening to this in your market, thinking about aligning with you personally and joining your organization, whether your physical team or just your mentorship type, program that obviously EXP allows you to do with people. So for those listening that want to align with you, tell us a little bit about, how you're able to use some of that cost savings to grow more leverage.
Well, number one, I don't have to pay for the agents to be at the office like Remax had us. The agent for the assistants, it was a couple $100 a month, or I think 400. And now I've got an $85 bill for them. And they still do sell. My assistants do, but it's just to their personal friends. So, but just the cost savings alone, I can have the maximum amount of office space that I want to house my staff too. Before at Remax, I was paying $1,600 a month for 2 10 by 10 rooms. Now I've got 2,500 square feet for, I think, $3,200 a month. And I've got my team each has an office now that they use on a regular basis. Some of my downline has come in and actually wanted space, so they are renting space from us. So there's, cost savings there as well.
Gotcha. I love that. So as people kind of are thinking through, the icon status, a lot of people, this is a recap, you guys don't know what icon is. To sum it up, you sell enough homes, they give you all the money back. All the cap you paid, all of the whatever comes back to you. So tell me, Todd, for someone, a high producer listening in your market right now, what would you tell them is the biggest reason, or how, talk to me about why they should be at least looking at it, right? Because I know I've been a top producer. I didn't ever want to look at it, right? Like I was like, no, that's too good to be true. Like, there's no way that it's 100% commission at EXP. We obviously make that joke, it's not.
Right.
But like, it's, you're pretty much 100% commission with Icon, to a degree. So I'd love to kind of hear, how do we help other people get out of their own heads and just maybe take a look at it, right? Whether it's a fit for them or not, how do we get them to take a look at it with you, and how?
Well, if the stock is a big thing, that's the number one reason, obviously, because it's money given back to us. It's money that I don't have, we have to let the money vest, which is kind of a good thing, because if I don't have to let it vest, then I'm going to go sell it and then do something else with it. And here's a mistake that I made this year. We had, the stock, obviously, like everything was like, really, really low. Was not a buyer back when it was lower, but we had about 4,000 shares we had acquired over, through the stock purchase program. And so I waited for it to get to about 12 where I wanted it to be. and sold it, made 25% of my money. Good return,
Yeah.
but that I sold that 3 months ago.
Yeah.
Where's that today? That's the thing I didn't realize is like you got to wait and let the money vest. That's why I like having the money where I can't touch it, and it's there 3 years from now. I'll be able to start tapping into that money, or a year and a half now. I can start tapping into that, but I want to leave it because it's that retirement account.
I love that.
That's my little concept on that.
I love that. So talk to me a little bit, because people may be listening that are obviously connected to you. They have no clue who this guy is on the other end. So this is my Schroth, yes, I know who I am. But if you're listening to if it's someone in your market, Todd, or someone even in Alaska or Hawaii or hell, even Mexico now, I don't even know where EXP's at anymore. I can't even keep track, man. But if someone's listening and they want to align with you, what are some of the things that you're able to do in alignment with other of your downline or business partners, as we call them, that you weren't able to do at other companies? Because obviously I see you giving back a lot more to your downline, being able to spend time with them because you have vested interest in their success.
And we do. And even if you're not in my direct downline, you're in, let's say you're in my downline and you're second or third level for me, I'm still reaching out to you to see how we can help, because your success is my success. And we want you to be successful. We want you to stay in the company. We want you to keep going forward. And, I'm going to take some one-on-one calls with you, give us some coaching. And, we've got to obviously divide up our day to where we can work with that. But once they're up and running, they're doing good. We've got a lot. I've learned a lot of stuff just coming over, the opportunities that are available to us through Jay Kinner, Michael Reese, through your stuff you've got going on with the VA stuff. And, just like Michael Reese, he's just crazy with all of his funnels that he keeps creating, and new construction funnel. 2 of my people in my downline are like, you got to do this. You got to start running these things, and 40 leads in 3 days. Yeah. And, it's got one of my team members going crazy with getting qualified buyers. And
awesome.
$100 a month in ads, and we're getting crazy. And it's like, we keep it up, I'm going to save my $4,000 a month I got in Zillow and put the money in, hire a bunch more agents, whatever. Yeah. So it's, the things that we can provide back is all the things that we've learned, all the lessons we've tripped over. And, what do you want to specialize in? I'll help create the program for that.
I love that. No, and that's something I've seen at EXP is like a lot of times you're at a brokerage and you need help, and the person's going to help you, but they don't have as much vested interest. And I think a lot of people are like, well, why does Todd have a vested interest in me? It's probably too much to go over on this podcast alone. So Todd, how can people reach out to you? What's the best way that they can get a hold of you to be able to, and I'll put your information, your email, your phone number. What's the best method of contact to get a hold of you if they're like, man, I like that Todd guy. How do I align with him?
Check out our Facebook page on Agents Who Win. You can connect with me through there, and or just find me on Facebook personally. Shoot me a message. I'm looking at my message requests all the time, and Instagram as well under Todd Schroth or Agents Who Win. We've got both those accounts that we're monitoring.
Cool, man. Well, tell me this as we kind of wrap up here. What are you most excited about? In the next year with EXP, the next year in your real estate business, or really just in the next year? What's got you the most excited and fueled up to go?
The things that have me most excited right now is finally getting that group going. It's going to help us accelerate from 30 to 100, 100 to 1,000, and really see what this company can do for us, because we've taken the slow road, but now we're on the fast track. And, that's what we're most excited about. And our team is building right now. We've gotten, been trying to get up to about 6 or 8 agents underneath us as far as the team members that are on us, and we're almost there. And we've got so much opportunity right now that we want to bring people into us to help them grow as well. So that's kind of what we've got going for the next year. That's keeping us moving forward.
I love that, man. Well, if you guys haven't already, make sure you guys jump over to Agents Who Win down below in the description. You guys will find a link to that group as well. So please go and join that. And hey, man, I really appreciate you coming on today. If you guys didn't check out the podcast I did with Todd on his group, go check it out. We have some awesome content there. So if you guys don't join it, you are definitely at a disadvantage, in my opinion.
Polite way to say it.
I love it. Well, awesome, Todd. Well, I appreciate you coming on today. And as always, it's good to chat with you.
You too. Sounds good, Justin. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Enjoy.
As always, guys, signing off from the Icon Podcast. New episodes each and every week. We appreciate you guys listening. Like we talked about, if you want to align with Todd, you have any questions for Todd, join his Facebook group, check all the links out below. And until next time, signing off.